Hallo and welcome back to Keerpunt Flanders. The war in Ukraine seems to be escalating, unfortunately. I think that Mr. Biden is playing a very dangerous game with all our lives. And I think he's doing it for only political reasons. Although he is stepping down, I think he's going to try to sabotage all the plans that Mr. Trump will be trying out to maybe have a little bit of world peace. Most of the world peace is negotiated by trade. As long as we keep talking and trading, there is no war. And those are some things that Trump is very good at. Donald Trump is a very good negotiator in that fact. Because of his economic background. I think he's a great negotiator and he can make many deals happen. Biden, on the other hand, I think he's on the way out, and I think he wants to sabotage that policy because otherwise they risk losing another election in 28, for example. And it would be a shame, but by giving the order to Ukraine so that they can use long-range missiles that have the potential of even reaching Moscow could have very high consequences. For the simple fact that Mr. Putin has nuclear weapons. And I always say to people, imagine a scenario during World War II where Hitler would have even one A-bomb, even one nuclear bomb. Don't you think that Hitler would have used it even in losing the war? Because many people think that Ukraine or Europe in general needs to win this war. But they seem to forget that in war there are no true winners, there are no true victors. There are only those who have died and those who have survived. That's what war is for the common people, for us. And I think that you need to be very careful because at the end of World War II, the US used 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But they did so to end the war, so that the suffering and the killing would end immediately and the enemy would see that they didn't stand a chance and that it was useless fighting until the last man. And it worked, because those 2 bombs, they gave us peace up until this point. Yet now the geopolitical world has changed and rattled up. So now we have countries or leaders like Putin who would use these weapons if they lose, not if they would win, if they lose. So I always ask myself, is Russia capable of losing? Do you really think that Russia is going to lose this war, minding in the back of your head that they have nuclear weapons that they can use? I don't think so. I think that we're making a very big mistake because Putin is old. And if we are lucky, he's not going to live for much longer. And that would be the ideal scenario. So I wonder, why not make a deal with Russia and Ukraine and let them have the occupied territories and let them have the access to the Black Sea? It's that simple. Do you really want to risk a nuclear engagement? That's the thing that I ask. On the other hand, we have to acknowledge, and I'm not a big fan of Russia, as I hate communism and I hate dictatorial leaders like Putin, for example. I don't like these people at all. But we live in a world where they have the power and they are in the power in Russia. So we have to deal with them. It's that simple. So sometimes you have to give something up for the greater good. Because imagine a world where they will use nuclear wars. That would nuclear weapons. That would constitute that there wouldn't be any place on the planet left where you will be safe. There are no refugee stations. There are no safe countries that refugees would go to. One of the reasons why Europe became prosperous so fast after World War II was because the US wasn't shot up. The US wasn't bombed. The US had all its industrial complex intact. And that meant that at the end of World War II, they put the Marshall Plan into action, and it was to revitalize the European economy and rebuild everything that was bombed. And that was only possible because you had a complete infrastructure, even it was an Atlantic Ocean between it. It was a whole country that could produce goods and services for countries that were destroyed during the war. Now imagine a conflict where you don't have that. Imagine a conflict where the US also gets bombed, because this is the world that we live in now. These ICBMs that Russia has can easily reach US mainland. So now imagine that kind of a war that is completely, utterly, and all destructive. You don't have anything left, any kind of production, any kind of food. If in a nuclear scenario, for example, agriculture would be impossible. It would be completely gone. All the crops would be contaminated by radioactive fallout and such on. So half the world's population would starve, anywhere between 1 and 3 months. Everybody. More than half of the people would starve to death, because you can only go so long without food. It's that simple. And you can't start eating contaminated food, because then you got other problems like cancer and stuff that creeps into your body, and you don't have any hospitals to treat the cancers and stuff, because it's all shut to hell. It's all gone. That's nuclear war. That's a scale that we have never ever seen before on this planet. And I'm talking about weapons that are far greater and far more destructive than what we have seen in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These kind of weapons, one of those weapons, for example, in conventional war, you have to have thousands of bombs, even to bomb a city. I think, I have to look it up, but I think in a history lesson long ago, they told us about the Dresden bombing by the Allies during World War II, and they dropped about 40,000 tons or something in bombs on Dresden. Now that seems a lot. Unfortunately, if you compare it to nuclear weapons today, 10 megatons, 40 megatons, 100 megatons, one such bomb could destroy the whole of Belgium completely. Yeah, my cats sometimes gets excited when I'm talking for some of the other reasons. Maybe I have a calming voice or something like that. But imagine that with one bomb, and maybe with 5 bombs, you can destroy France. Maybe Holland would take maybe 3 bombs. Germany would maybe take also 5 bombs. Italy maybe 4, depending. Spain maybe 4 or 5. It's not that we have to drop a lot of bombs these days to destroy whole countries. Not just cities, but simply whole countries. And I then wonder, and this is especially for Mr. Biden himself, does he think about the implications for the political game that he is playing? Because it's clear that this is just a move to discredit Donald Trump, to make it harder for him during those 4 years. And he is willing to, and he, meaning Biden, apparently is willing to take that risk for political gain. He doesn't care about the millions of people on the planet. He doesn't care at all. Otherwise, he would be very careful with attacking Russia, especially by Ukraine, because now it's like Putin said, if there is a bomb which has dropped on Moscow, for example, if they would bomb Moscow with a few bombs, or 1 bomb even, that would mean that the engagement changes from not just Ukraine, no, it changes to NATO. It changes to the whole of Europe. And Biden couldn't care less. It's that simple. He couldn't care less. You see it with this guy. He doesn't care. If he's capable of cutting off fuel in the name of climate change, knowingly, he knows very well that the prices will go up and inflation is going to happen because of price, because of demand and free market. If he is capable of doing that, he doesn't give a damn about us. He doesn't give a damn about us normal people like me making these videos to express my concerns. I hope you enjoyed what I have been talking about, and I hope that you follow me a little bit more, because I got like maybe 35 followers for the moment. I would like to see a few thousand. That would be nice. But it's not just about the followers. I would love to have to see happen discussions on the forum as well. The people who are pro, the people who are against, any kind of civilized discussion about these topics interests me. That's about it. I hope you enjoyed listening to me, and I hope I can talk to you later. I hope that we don't have a nuclear conflict, and for me, we shouldn't be even having wars. It's that simple. And there's a saying, also the Americans use it. You have to, in order to conserve peace, you have to prepare for war. Okay, that's true, but you also have to fight for diplomacy. That's my take on it. Yes, peace is very important, and you have to protect peace, and you have to be prepared to fight for that peace. But in the back of your head, you have to still think about negotiating peace by diplomacy. It's like I said in the start of the video, if people stop talking, bad things happen. And this is not my quote. This is a quote from somebody at Turning Point USA. But they're right. So let's keep talking a lot, I hope. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.